Welcome to episode number 21 of the Go for Two podcast. Happy New Year, everybody. We're bringing in 2020 hot and on fire with this episode. I got my buddy, my pal, my friend Lucas here with me. Lucas, how are you?
I am playoff bound. All right? That's how I am.
Don't rub it in too much on me.
Playoff bound.
I'm upset. We'll talk about our hometown heroes later, but I'm upset. But I've come to terms. I've come to grips. I understand that the Cowboys are not in the playoffs, and I understand that we're going to be looking for a new head coach. But before we talk about new head coaching vacancies, and I think there's going to be quite a few in the NFL this year, me and Lucas thought it would be fun since we're ending the decade, and bringing in a brand new one. We thought it would be a little fun, a little whimsical, if you shall, to talk about our top players, of the decade of the 2010s.
Yeah, real quick. All right. At first, it was like pick one player, and then it was like, Jackson was like, all right, we'll just do top three. Well, I couldn't just choose top three, so like I had multiple players for each spot, and Jackson got offended. So
Lucas has poor decision-making skills. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, I've got, poor decision-making skills, but I make the decision on every topic every week. Except for like one.
You insist.
You said 21? 21 episodes.
20, yeah, this is episode 21. 21. Mr.
All
Lucas.
Right. You go first.
I have three players, so I'll go through them a little bit quicker.
You said you were going to do more.
I thought about it, but then I just decided to go with my original three, okay? Because I think these are three solid names for the 2010 decade, all right? You ready?
You said you're going to go deeper than me, and this is favorite players, by the way, for anyone that wants to know. This ain't like, most dominating stuff like that, although Jackson probably kind of went with an idea like that.
I went into like significant contributions into like to the NFL, to the brand, and to dominance as well.
Jesus, I just went with my favorite.
Also, some players that I admire, especially throughout the 2010s decade. It's weird to say that we're in a new decade, 2020. Dear God! All right, number one, and this is in no specific order, by the way. This is just three players. First one, J.J. Watt. J.J. Watt, of course, kind of dominant defensive end. He has to be double teamed almost every play. He's been out recently. He's got a torn pec this year. He's actually should be back for the playoffs.
Ugh.
But yeah, I know, isn't that scary? But dominant player. He has done a lot for his community with his different outreach programs, especially after Hurricane Harvey. So J.J. Watt, special perennial player from the 2010s. Number two, Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson was perhaps the most dominant back I've ever seen, especially over his early period of his career when he was with Minnesota.
Didn't he beat someone?
Might have beaten us a couple times.
No, like didn't he like beat his kid or something?
Yeah, we
or his wife. Well, yeah, I'm just saying. Most
influential
in a positive and a negative way, folks.
Yeah, it was his kid, but yeah. Adrian Peterson, he was a must-have fantasy running back, number one pick for several years in a row. It took oftentimes 2 to 3 people to bring him down. Led the league in rushing multiple years. AP, dominant back. Number 3, and
he's still good,
really,
by the way.
Yeah, he's still good. Torched us for a little bit earlier today, as we're recording this podcast. Number 3, really number 1 in all of our hearts, needs no introduction. The GOAT himself, Tom Brady. Over the course of the course of this decade, he has submitted himself as the greatest player of all time, as well as the greatest quarterback. 6 rings, and possibly counting. We'll see how he does in the playoffs. But those are my 3 players of the decade, Mr. Lucas.
Okay, so I've got 1, 2, and 3. These obviously aren't in any order. I didn't go with like overall stuff. Like I said earlier, I went with like my personal favorites. So like my first 2 players next to my number 1. Of course, as a Titans fan, you have to love what CJ2K did. All right, you gotta love Chris Johnson came in, and with no Steve McNair and Eddie George, like you had a reason to keep being there. Like there was excitement there. Like
Yeah.
I remember going to a game, and it was like every time Chris Johnson got the ball, like you expected a 60-yard break off out of nowhere.
Yeah,
And
he's a home run hitter for sure.
right, it was amazing. And then next to him, I put Nate Washington. Was a wide receiver for us for a while. Before that, he was a wide receiver with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He was the first pro player I ever met in person.
Oh, that's cool.
Really, really cool. He was awesome. I was in middle school, and I actually remember going, and it was him and oh man, Hasselback was our other quarterback.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, Hasselback was our quarterback. Someone got hurt, I think, so we had him come in. It was probably his last year in the NFL, if not very close. Anyways, we had I got him to sign one of my hats, but he was like not really cool about it.
Oh,
but he did it. But then like walked over to Nate Washington, and there was like 6 of us there, and he was like, "All right, who wants autographs? You know, like you get an autograph, you get." He was really cool. He was fun to be around. He actually interacted with us and stuff, so it was awesome. Chris Johnson sadly was not like that, but he was awesome player. In my second number 2, I got 2 players in this one too. I had to put these together: Troy Polamalu and Larry Fitzgerald.
Oh, they were on the cover of Madden 2010 together.
I had to put them together for that Super Bowl. Because it was just awesome in a time where I personally was away from football a little bit. Like being able to see them all the time was awesome. Especially, I love Polamalu's hair. All right.
Oh yeah, and the Head and Shoulders commercials.
The Head and Shoulder commercials are awesome, and Larry Fitzgerald is a legend even now. Like he's still playing. But
by the way, quick side note: after that Super Bowl, we had this buddy in high school, and bless him, he was such a nice guy, sweet kid, big heart, actually a really nice dude. But for whatever reason, he was not like as strong as some of the other offensive linemen, so we kind of messed with him a little bit in high school. But he was a huge Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and everybody was rooting for the Cardinals because they didn't want to hear him talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers. And so I remember the day after that Super Bowl victory, we see him walking into the lunch table, right? Because everybody's got their tables at the beginning before class. And so we see him walking over. He sits down next to us. All like 9 of us get up off the table and move across the lunchroom and sit down at a brand new table. He was like, "Dude, what's going on?" So we're just messing with him. No, he's actually a really cool dude.
That's it. But those
mess with him.
Yeah, in a time that I felt like I was drifting away from football, those 2 guys and like that Super Bowl brought me back into it. Like made me enjoy other teams and stuff.
What a game. Oh, won a game. That was crazy.
My last group, I've got 3 right here, and it's because like as a Titans fan, these first 2 people like really gave you a reason to keep on being a fan. So like first off, I got Marcus Mariota. Say what you want about the guy, but took us to our first playoff appearance in forever. He led us to 3 9-7 seasons after we were used to winning 2 games a year. Like he gave you hope. I mean, he caught his own touchdown pass in the playoffs against the Chiefs, and we won. And so super big deal as a fan that like he gave us that hope for a long time, and wish him well. Hope he ends up somewhere. He obviously will, but he's a super good guy.
He's too good not to.
Yeah, I actually have a story involving him later on in my Hometown Heroes. Cool stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I saw that. I think I know what you're going to talk about.
Next up, I gotta say Delaney Walker. Same thing as Marcus. Like in a time where you just literally had nothing. You had Marcus Mariota and Delaney Walker. All right, our other wide receivers are not in the NFL anymore.
Yeah.
So like, it was just that's what you had, and they were so consistently good, and it was awesome. All right, it was amazing. As a fan that had nothing, I went from Jake Locker to that, so it was a big deal.
That is a big deal. Oh my God, Jake Locker.
Yeah, big deal, bro. And then my last one's Taylor Lewan, just because the dad. I mean, you gotta love him. Like I love the energy. That's right. I love the energy he brings to the game. The guy's hilarious. I love the way he looks at life and everything. The way he attacks his sports life as well is awesome. So.
A lot of Titans on that list, Lucas. Interesting. One would think you might be a fan of the Nashville team.
Titans. Yeah, Titans fan. Anyways, sorry, I did so much because I had to split them up. Like I was like, well, I got to put Troy and Larry in the same thing. Like they're on the same level. They both did it for me. Like I remember just wishing that I had players like that on the Titans back then, you know. And then it's kind of in their own little respective eras.
2010s was a great decade for football. A lot of good games, a lot of big time Super Bowls, a lot of stories. It was amazing. I can't wait to see what this decade has for us too.
Well,
it was crazy, Lucas.
what?
At the end of this next decade, the 2020s, I'll be 37, bro.
Man, Jackson,
I'm
you're
gonna
old
be
already.
Dude, I am old. What's going on?
I just turned 22. What's up?
I know, the young gun.
So, you know, in this decade, there's one team in the NFL that hasn't had a single winning season. I believe
And
that
who
is
might that be?
I believe that is correct. You'd think it'd be the Cowboys because they're awful.
You're just taking jabs at me today, aren't you? Okay.
But it is actually the Browns. All right,
Yeah.
and we got some news on the Browns. All right,
We
we
did.
are recording this pod right after Sunday Night Football on Sunday. We're hoping to
Yeah.
get this out like Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, depending on what's going on. We you know stuff to do, New Year's Eve stuff. Jackson's moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moving
So,
to a new space. So
anyways, it'll definitely be out before the playoffs start next weekend.
we thank you for your patience and flexibility in this time.
Yeah. We got a better schedule coming up in about 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah,
We'll
2 to 3 weeks we'll be back in solid.
be really good like we were before. Anyways, but coming out earlier today, Adam Schefter reported this on Twitter. That's where I seen it. Freddie Kitchens has actually been fired. Woo! Everyone's seen
Yes.
it coming. Not a curveball there, folks. Not a single one.
Apparently, Freddie Kitchens thought he had support from the organization that they were going to back him up, but that did not happen.
No. Well, I mean,
I almost said sadly, but I'm not sad at all. I'm actually happy. He didn't
Yeah.
deserve to be a head coach.
no. Too quick. Not to say that he can't one day.
Of course.
But he definitely like got up there too fast. That's the GM's fault. Like this whole thing is on the GM in my opinion.
I think he would have been a great OC.
He would have. Well, he showed you how good he was last year as an OC, and I think
Yeah.
he could have done that this year. But he didn't get to just be the OC this year. He had to be the head coach of Odell, Baker, Landry.
Yeah. A lot of personalities on that team. Miles Garrett.
Yeah.
Then that just smacked me over the head.
Earlier on in the year, earlier in the season, we did a segment on all this stuff, and this guy right here, me, brought up how bringing big faces into the locker room like that would ruin newer players, would ruin some of the younger players in the league. And Miles Garrett is a star player that no one ever had a problem with him until this year. He's had some little anger flashes, but
Nothing
the
super
Browns is a
serious
mess.
until this year. Yeah.
So anyways, I think we can all agree Freddie Kitchens needed to be fired. No surprise
He did. And,
in this
he
happening.
could be a good head coach later, but he really hurt his chances of becoming. He stunted his own growth.
Well, it'd be different.
I think if he was OC this year and maybe an OC next year, then he would be ready. But now it's like, who's going to trust him to be a head coach for the next at least 3 to 4 years?
Right, and he'll have to work
Like
his way up.
He doesn't work his way back up. It
Which
actually
is fine.
by being by hitting the afterburners and jumping straight up into that head coach, I think it hindered his overall career and stunted it by 4 years for him to get back to that look. That's
right. And he might not ever be a head coach again, but I think he could definitely be an asset to a team. He's going to be in the NFL somewhere.
Sure. Oh yeah, somebody will hire him for something.
But anyway, so I was wondering if there's maybe any other coaches you think that are going to be fired.
Huh. I can think of one who won't be fired. The Jerry Jones won't do that. I'm using air quotations. He's just not going to re-sign Jason Garrett. They're going to let his contract expire, and they're going to look for somebody else. I am 99.99% sure that's what's going to happen. I would be shocked and utterly beyond frustrated if we somehow re-sign him. I know it's something Jerry doesn't want to do because he considers Jason a kind of a pseudo son, right?
Right.
But it's just something that has to happen. It's time to go in a new direction. 9 years as head coach, 10 years on the staff. longtime backup quarterback. It's time to go in another direction. Um, so Jason Garrett definitely, possibly who else? Lucas, we saw Doug Marone was out for Jacksonville.
Yes.
Yeah, so
But
that's a good
real
thing.
real quick, so Jerry Jones has already spoken on the Garrett situation a little bit, so I wanted to read this article on NFL.com that I got here. This is by
Yeah.
Nick Shook. All right, I just want to read some certain parts out of it. He quoted a tweet from Jane Slater, who
Okay.
asked Jerry Jones. Um, this is what their interaction said. Jerry
Yeah.
Jones continued to praise head coach Jason Garrett when I said it sounds like he's not shutting the door on him. He told me there's no door shut here tonight, none. But he also told us I can see myself making a lot of changes in a lot of areas. The times call for that. We wait.
He's not ready to do it yet. He knows he has to, but he just needs to rip the Band-Aid off, man, and just let it go. Now another question. Well, I'll get into that in a minute later. Actually, I'm going to head too ahead of myself. I'll talk about that hometown heroes. But so Doug Marone, Jason Garrett, Pat Shermer could be out in New York. That's a possibility. We know Bill Callahan's going to be out. In Washington, he filled in as interim head coach, but Ron Rivera might likely take a spot. We have Ron Rivera's spot in Carolina that's going to be taken. I think there's a couple other ones, Lucas. Is there any more? I know that's 5 for sure.
I would love this. Probably isn't going to happen. I would love to see the Texans get a new head coach. Not as a Titans fan, but
Yeah.
as a Texans, like if I was a Texans fan, like it's just you're never gonna go far. Like
Yeah.
you can make the playoffs and win the bad AFC South division, but I feel like the team is not making strides. Like what saved the Texans is that they were mediocre, but the rest of the AFC South was terrible for a very long time.
Yeah.
And then Deshaun Watson saved him.
Yes.
I mean, you won your division. You won 10 games this year. That's nothing.
He's a generational player too. Like,
Yeah, and like
what a
that's
skill to
nothing
draft.
amazing. You should honestly be doing more than 10 wins with Deshaun Watson, DeAndre Hopkins,
DeAndre Hopkins,
JJ
and
Watt.
the talent that they have.
You should
Yeah,
definitely be
absolutely.
doing more.
I'd like to see a new head coach for Houston as well. Be interesting to see kind of what happens if Miami just wants to stay with what they have with Flores.
Jets.
If the Jets get rid of Adam Gase, what happens there? I heard Mike McCarthy has been an interested party in several organizations. I think including the Panthers, the Redskins.
I think that'd be cool.
And I'd like to have him back as well. So there should be quite a few shakeups at the end of last year. There should be quite a few shakeups at the beginning of this year.
I feel like there's a lot. There's a lot when you're looking at teams. I feel like the NFL is going to look a little different next year when all these coaches and there's a bunch of quarterbacks that could potentially be moving as well. I know we don't have this in our deal, and we're talking about coaches right now, but you got to think like. Drew Brees is coming up on the end of his contract. Tom Brady
decide to do.
Yeah, Phillip Rivers. Like these are some unanswered questions. Like we're assuming that they're going to stay. Eli Manning's probably going to retire. You got Marcus Mariota's going to go somewhere. Could do something. Cam Newton. Like I feel like there's a bunch of not to mention the draft prospects coming in. I mean, you got Joe Burrow, Tua possibly coming in. I don't know if he's declared yet or not.
I don't think he has yet.
Herbert, I believe, is that guy's last name.
Herbert.
Oregon. There's some cool stuff going on, man. You know what's Miami going to do about their quarterback situation? They're going to draft someone, go after someone. So it's pretty cool how fast things are going to change this year. The NFL is going to look a lot different next year, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. There's a lot of different changes. When you talk, usually over the course of an NFL season, you have, one coaching change, maybe 3, somewhere in there. But this year's could be anywhere from 3 to 8.
Mm.
just depending on who decides to make a change and
And how's that
who
going to
gets
affect
shuffled
other
around
teams?
where. How's that going
Exactly.
to affect other teams? Where does Mariota go? Does Winston get Jameis Winston? Does he get re-signed?
Hey, one
Um,
1 mil for every interception. he
yeah,
hit he
exactly.
hit 30
What
in
what happen?
overtime
What
today.
happens with Cam? What happens with Mitchell Trubisky? There's a lot of questions going into the 2020 season. Um,
It's
so
awesome. Give us plenty of stuff to talk about.
for sure, and a lot of it comes down to what happens in these playoffs. Does Drew Brees win? If he does, I think he's out and retired, a two-time champ.
Does Teddy
Um,
become their QB then?
does Teddy become? I think so. I think if they win, I've said this before in an earlier episode. I think if Drew Brees wins this championship this year, then he retires as a champion, and they give the keys to Teddy, just because of the success that they had this year with Teddy and Drew Brees out.
Right.
And it's kind of that weird time where Drew Brees is approaching the end of his thing, but so is Teddy. But you want to obviously keep Drew because he's a franchise, but you don't want to let go of the potential successor that could be Teddy. Can you
Right.
convince Teddy to stick around if Drew doesn't win it this year for another year or two? Do you throw in a tag somewhere? There's a lot of different scenarios that could happen.
So I brought up Joe Burrow earlier, made you think of some college quarterbacks. So like,
Yeah.
we got some other college quarterbacks played some pretty big games this past week. We got Jalen Hurts, who is
He
going to
got
come into the
hurt.
draft somewhere.
He didn't
Um,
get physically hurt, but
yeah,
he
they
got
got
beat down.
destroyed. Fields looks like he's going to be a draft prospect definitely in the future. And then
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence. So we got to talk about them. We got to talk about the college football playoff a little bit. A little bit on
Yeah.
a little bit on what we seen from it.
One game was amazing to watch. The other game was just a beat down.
It was bad, and Jalen tried, man. And his press conference afterwards was awesome.
Yes.
I really enjoyed listening to him. Seeing how he thinks about all this stuff, the journey, the very unique journey he's been on.
Yes.
Cool stuff. Cool stuff, really. I wish him the best. I hope he gets on a good team. I heard some people were saying that they want the Ravens to take him so they can have 3 of the mobile quarterbacks like that in the backfield, and I'm just like, that's not going to happen. Surely not. Surely
It's not
not.
going to happen. It's definitely not going to happen. Think about that Alabama recruiting staff. I mean, you have Tua, you bring on Jalen Hurts, Jalen transfers,
Mm-hmm.
right? Think about the Ohio State recruiting staff. You bring on Dwayne Haskins, and you also bring on Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow goes to LSU, lights it up. He's the, assumed number one pick.
Yeah, and
this year.
Fields, the quarterback for Ohio State, got him from Georgia,
No.
and they're upset because their quarterback was not that good this year. He was Fromm was underperforming this year.
That seems to be a new thing that's happening this year.
What's the new rule change? The new rule change.
Yeah, you can transfer, and it's almost like trades in college football now. It's not quite like trades, but it's like a bit of free agency.
Mm-hmm.
Almost.
Well, it makes sense. Like it gives these really good, talented players a chance to go somewhere else and make a name for themselves instead of wasting time because they know someone else is going to be in front of them. But let's talk about the LSU game real quick. So the LSU Oklahoma game, like we were saying earlier, we were talking about it. Terrible. It was it was a beat down. Randy Moss's son, their tight end, literally mossed someone.
Oh, that's awesome.
Joe Burrow he had all the time in the world in the pocket, and then when he didn't, he would run around everywhere and just throw it up, and they were just coming down with the ball, and it was
like
7
touchdowns in the first half or something.
7 touchdowns in the first half. Yes, it was amazing. Broke all the college football playoff records, of course, that were previously held by Marcus Mariota and the Ducks. All right,
yes,
against Jameis Winston because Jameis Winston's terrible. But he's going to get that money. Jameis Winston's going to be a quarterback for them next year. Just to let you know.
5,000 passing yards this year.
But yeah, so there's not really a lot to talk about in that game. But the other game, Ohio State Clemson, was an amazing game. I know you got to catch the end of it, and I got to watch most of it. There were some questionable referee calls that I want to just get onto first. Number one.
Okay.
Dobbins, the halfback for Ohio State, dropped a touchdown catch. It ended up resulting in a field goal, and some people are saying that it should have been ruled a catch because he caught the ball, had control of it. His knee was down in the end zone. They think the play should be dead, but then he didn't keep control until he hit the ground. That's just the rule. You have to keep
Right.
control the whole time, The cornerback for Ohio State got kicked out of the game for targeting. I think that's a tough call, but I don't think it should have been called for targeting. That hurt them. It would have been like 4th and 20 something, and instead they got a first down. And then that cornerback got taken out, and Trevor Lawrence immediately threw a deep ball to the new cornerback that came in. And so, of course, the guy he's literally cold, so he gets called for passing interference. It's the only way he can stop a touchdown.
Right. It's one of those situations where you take the penalty instead of giving up the score.
And then Clemson scored, and it changed the game. It changed the game, and it shouldn't have happened because the cornerback blitzes, he's coming in right before he hits Trevor Lawrence. Trevor does this. He tucks down, like head first, and then he gets hit in the head. Well, the dude is 6'6", and the guy's coming up to hit him in the chest, and then he ducks down. That's going to happen. And
I'm all for
the guy couldn't control that.
I'm all for the element of targeting being in the game, because if you're doing it on purpose and you're going for a dude's head, then there should be a penalty, and if it's severe enough, you should be kicked out of the game. I think that should. Let's start that with my argument was saying that should be a thing, but determining whether a 265-pound man running at full speed can make the determination to stop himself that fast to avoid hitting the helmet. Like it's a weird judgment call. I feel like a lot of times that referees ref off of the results of the play instead of what actually happened.
Well, see,
right?
The refs.
So the result was he got hit in the helmet, so he must have targeted him on purpose.
Well, the refs didn't call anything. The refs thought it was clean.
Really? Okay.
It got looked at, and through the replay, they called it targeting.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. I was traveling during these games, so I didn't call it the tail end.
But and I still don't agree with that. And a bunch of referees have gone to Twitter and social media and whatnot and have put their opinion in, saying that they also disagree. So that was a big deal. But they were also they were up 16-0. So, and Ohio State dropped 3 passes in the end zone. They should. So if they catch the balls, they should have. 2 of them were on the same drive. 1 was on another drive, and then they had a field goal. It should have been 24-0, but it was 16-0 because they couldn't capitalize. Left a lot of points on the board. And then here came Clemson, and here's Trevor Lawrence running 60-something yards down the field for a touchdown, and it's 14-16. And then your quarterback for Ohio State hasn't thrown an interception all year, and he throws 2 in this game. One of them being on the game-winning drive at the end to win the game, and he has a miscommunication with the guy. It's not his fault, but it's just you've been fine all year, and it's this moment you throw more picks in this game than you did all year.
Yeah.
And so it's I want to agree with a bunch of people, because there's a bunch of people that are saying Ohio State got cheated, and that was definitely a turning point in the game. But I'm you're up 16-0. It should have been 24-0. Things like this happen in football games with a lead that. You can't.
It's props to Clemson for being able to take advantage of key moments in the game, of key swing moments, right? Take advantage of that moment. Trevor Lawrence rushes for 60 yards down the sideline. Being able to come through and still go and score on drives and make stops when they needed to. It wasn't like Clemson was just gifted this game off of a call.
Exactly.
Right.
And then
so it's good, ups to Clemson and props to Clemson for being able to take advantage of key moments in the game. But if we talk about the targeting call, yes, that obviously I think that was a mistake, especially if it comes from the booth and on the field. It's called clean. So it has to be, indisputable evidence if you're going to reverse something.
Yeah, it was I think it was one of those where Trevor Lawrence had to come out of the game for a play, and I think they seen Lawrence's reaction, and I think that stuff that helped him with that.
And don't breathe on the quarterback, because if you breathe on the other team's quarterback,
there was also one more. There's also one more play. Clemson dude catches the ball. He takes like 2 or 3 steps, but the other guy is like on him all the way, like bringing him down during those steps.
Yeah.
So for me, it's hard to say that he had control. On the field, they ruled it a catch fumble. He caught the ball, took 2 to 3 steps, fumbled the ball. Ohio State took it for a touchdown, I believe, or got close. That was a big swing point. They reviewed it, came back and said it wasn't a fumble. He didn't catch the ball. Is what they're saying. They're saying he didn't catch the ball. So a bunch of people are arguing over that. He did take like 2 to 3 steps, but like the guy is on him the whole time, like
So it's
on his
kinda one of
arm.
those.
Like, can you really say that he had full possession? It also comes into play, like, was he able to make a football move? He wasn't able to make a football move because the guy was on him, like he was being tackled. So
Yeah.
it's definitely like I understand why they ruled it that way. I think it could have gone
One of
either
those
way.
gray areas. Yeah. Yeah,
But
yeah.
awesome football this weekend. Awesome
Yeah,
football.
incredible football game. I can't wait to see the Clemson LSU matchup.
Yes,
I think
yes,
that's going to be
yes.
a good game.
That's going to be awesome. I think that's in 2 weeks.
Yeah, Clemson hasn't lost a game in what was it, like 700 days or something like that, and
Something wild.
they're the defending champions, and they get to defend their title against the presumptive number one pick and Heisman Trophy winner Joe Burrow, and of course the supporting cast of LSU.
Which is good.
So it's gonna
Real
be a good game.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. So we don't get that game this weekend though. That's in
We
like
don't.
2
We
weeks.
gotta wait. Yeah, we gotta wait a little bit.
But this weekend we got the playoffs, and I want us to talk a little bit about. We finally know which teams are in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I want to take like
down.
our take on the playoffs, if we like how it's set up, and I want to focus on this round one. We're going to do our picks later, but I really want to get into like, can any of these teams go far? Like,
Okay.
like just off the top of your head, like, are you looking at any
Yes.
of the wild card teams maybe and thinking like they have a chance to make some noise?
I do. I'm looking at Seattle.
Yes.
I think that they can. I would not be surprised to see them in the NFC Championship game at all.
Russell Wilson.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely looking at them. I don't think Minnesota can make it super far. I'm looking at Tennessee to cause some upsets. I don't know, man. It just seems like lately, like the Patriots running out of gas or something. That it's in Foxborough and they just lost at home to Miami, and it's one of those weird gray areas because number one, they're vulnerable right now,
Mm-hmm.
right? And Braves can smell the blood in the water, but at the same time, when was the last time that the Patriots lost 2 straight home games? Like they had just won 27 straight home games.
Right. The Patriots are undefeated at home against the Titans. They're also undefeated in the playoffs against the Titans.
So for that to happen, it would be absolutely insane.
Right.
But at the same time, if it's going to happen, I would feel like it's going to happen now because they're vulnerable.
And I was actually really happy when I found out that they lost and that we were going to play them if we won. My dad was not. My dad has seen the Patriots and the Baltimore Ravens defeat the Titans in the playoffs way too many times. But I was really happy about it because I was so nervous about going and playing Kansas City, man. So nervous. Even though it's like, oh, like y'all have their number, y'all have beat them the past 3 times you've played them. Andy Reid's only won like Andy Reid is like 1-9 against the Titans or something ridiculous like that, you know. That's not an accurate stat. He's bad against us. But I was happy because we can hang with them. We might lose, but we can hang with them. We're not going to get outscored 64-30.
Yeah, no. It's going to be a close game, and I feel like it's potential upset. The other team I'm looking at that's in the wild card round that our pick to win the Super Bowl, New Orleans, the Saints.
Are they in the first? They are.
They didn't get the first round bye because Green Bay locked it up today with the win, and San Francisco locked it up tonight. Yeah. So
Saints is my number one
the
team.
Saints are going to play Minnesota. Minnesota, I feel like, is kind of flat lately. I feel like that should be a good game. But I think New Orleans is going to take that.
Yeah, if they can run.
I feel like they're super dangerous in the wild card round right now.
Definitely, for sure. Like they're the most favored team.
Yeah, so
in the wild card
to answer your question, Seattle, New Orleans, and Tennessee. Those are my three teams that, two of which I feel like can make the Super Bowl. The other one I feel like can definitely cause an upset this weekend.
Yeah, so in the AFC wild card, I mean, obviously, like, you want to be worried about the Patriots, but I'm really not. They may beat us, but I'm not worried about them making the AFC Championship or making the Super Bowl, even though they got Tom Brady, and he might turn into playoff Brady, and he might
Bill
torch
Belichick,
everyone.
and they're at home,
Right.
and
But they
it's
don't
the
have home
playoffs.
field after this, you know?
Right. Exactly. But it almost feels like I know he's a GOAT, and I'm not disputing that at all. And I know he's like obviously the best ever, and Bill Belichick, best head coach.
There's
But
nothing else on the offense.
they don't seem as scary this year. They don't have all the offensive firepower. You can beat them 17-14.
Right, you can hang with them. That's the thing. But like the Titans, obviously, like, to me, like, I feel like we have a chance to make some noise. If we beat the Patriots, Jackson, we might just go Super Saiyan. All right, because that's a big deal.
Here's the thing. The thing that I think is going to give you guys the advantage is because you're talking about that Patriots defense. Oh, they're so good. Yes, they are. Stephon Gilmore, I guarantee you, he's going to be glued to AJ Brown.
Yep.
Right. So it's going to be like, can Corey Davis or Humphreys or Sharp, can one of them pop off? Because the Titans have a home run playability this year that not a lot of other teams have. I think they were second in like offensive explosive scoring or something like that, like scores beyond 40 yards. Like, you have the ability to just pop off.
Yeah, we're top 5 explosive offense with Tannehill. Like, we're top 5 offense with him, like total scoring and everything. I think, like,
exactly. So the thing is going to be AJ Brown's going to be locked up against Stephon Gilmore. Can Sharp or Corey Davis or Derrick Henry make a big time play? Because they're going to contain Henry, and they're going to say, Steph, you stay on AJ Brown, and can Tannehill maneuver to beat us? That's going to be the key matchup.
So the Titans beat the Patriots last year.
Yeah.
And Corey Davis torched them with Stephon Gilmore. Torched them. We beat them 34-10, and Corey Davis had 7 catches for 125 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
5 of those catches, including the touchdown, and 90 of the yards came against Gilmore. So
that's crazy. But here's the thing: number one, Stephon Gilmore's on a completely different level. Like,
oh yeah, well he's going to be on AJ Brown though.
He is going to be on AJ Brown this year, but that's also a caveat to you guys. You didn't have AJ Brown,
exactly,
who I think is a significant candidate for Offensive Rookie of the Year.
He's definitely going to win it. He's the first player since Randy Moss, and he's one of 4 players now that are NFL rookies that had like 4 or more catches for 50+ yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
So
his only competition for that is like Kyler Murray, but even then, I don't think Kyler Murray had a significant enough season to beat AJ Brown for Offensive Rookie of the Year.
I was thinking the halfback for Oakland got a pretty good case. 1,000-yard rusher.
He did. Josh Jacobs had played very well. Yeah, but he didn't play AJ Brown good.
But I don't see the Patriots making the AFC Championship, although I wouldn't put it past them. Like, they can. You got Tom Brady. You're obviously dangerous.
You still got that thing in the back of your head, man. It's still the New England Patriots. It's still Brady. It's Belichick. It's their defense. If they could find a way to score 21 points a game, they're going to win 98% of their games.
Right, and
that's all they have to win. That's all they have to score. 21 points.
If the Titans can get Adam Humphreys and Adoree Jackson back, then I think that'll be able to help our offense and our defense. I think we'll have an opportunity to make it to the AFC Championship. If we run into Kansas City there, that spooks me. The only reason I would say the AFC Championship is because if we beat the Patriots, we're going to be so hyped, and we're going to go to a Ravens team whose starters have not played in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Which has caught some teams before. So you're a relatively cold team coming against the hottest team in the NFL.
Who also rested, the 2 weeks, they also rested their starters.
This week, and then they're getting the bye. That's why I said 2 weeks, yeah. So,
but at the same time, you just gave Lamar Jackson 2 weeks to refresh his legs.
Exactly.
So if he had any wear and tear at all, it's gone now.
Right.
So it's kind of a flip of a coin thing.
Yeah. In terms of the NFC, Wait. The Texans and the Bills are both bad. All right.
Yeah, I don't expect them to do any real damage. I feel like whoever wins that game is gonna just depending on if the Titans win or not, they're gonna go lose at Kansas City or they're gonna go lose at Baltimore.
Yeah,
I don't expect them to make it past the second round.
exactly. In the NFC, obviously the Saints. Like you got to
Yeah,
say the Saints. And then I think if the Vikings can get a run game going, they can win.
yeah.
But can Dalvin Cook stay healthy?
He's got a
Can
significant shoulder issue.
well can
He's been knocked
you
out of the games twice this year.
can you get Stephon Diggs and
Adam Thielen going.
Adam Thielen to both fully realize their potential as a 1 and 2? Because that is so deadly.
Do you feel like that could be the best 1-2 combo in the league?
Yes, but it's like it just won't
Or
happen.
at least a top 3? Like it could be.
I can't name a better combo like Antonio Brown and Juju, but that's not there anymore.
Yeah.
So like I
And
personally
Cooper
can't.
Gallup isn't better than them.
I mean Odell and Jarvis.
Godwin and Evans, I guess. Just in terms of per yardage, but I mean
That's just because run deep every play. I mean,
that's 4 verticals on Madden, bro. Every play, that's all they're doing.
but I'm definitely excited for the playoffs, and I like the teams that got in. I don't think there's any other teams that should have got in over these teams, except for the Cowboys. The Eagles are bad.
Oh man. We'll talk about that hometown heroes, but we flattened the Redskins today.
Yeah, it was good.
Just had our way with them.
Speaking of hometown heroes, it's time for
It's
hometown
time?
heroes.
Oh, okay.
It is time.
I get to go first this week. Right?
Yeah. So you're gonna go
sweet.
first, Mr. Jackson. So go ahead,
All right,
buddy.
So I'm just going to speak from my heart to all my fellow Cowboy fans out there. I didn't write down likes or dislikes. I'm just going to talk about this season kind of as a whole, fairly short. The 2019 season was definitely full of ups and downs. We started off the year hot, 3-0. We had the number 1 offense this year in terms of yards per game and top 5 in scoring. But we lost a lot of games by 1 score. We lost, I believe it was 7 games. 5 games by 1 score or less. That means 7 points or less. If you would flip those games from losses to wins, we would be 13-3 and probably a number 3 seed right now, number 4 seed, wherever it would be, but we'd be 13-3 this year, and the Eagles wouldn't even be close to taking home the title. What I saw from the Redskins game was a lot of good things. I saw what this team looked like against the Rams, what this team should have looked like all year long. Zeke had over 100 yards rushing. Gallup had nearly 100 yards. He had 3 touchdown catches. Cooper was able to keep double teams on him all game long and still caught a couple deep balls. Witten was dynamic in both blocking and pass catching on the play action. Dak had over 300 yards. The defense was stout, took away 3 different turnovers. We capitalized on those. We made our field goals. We didn't have a whole lot of penalties. Overall, a very solid and good game. We had our way with the Washington Redskins. They had absolutely no chance, especially going into the second half. It was over. We had a good game plan. We were scripted very well off the gate and executed.
Hey,
And
I'm gonna go save my job now.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's just I was happy to watch that today, but at the same time I was disheartened because I knew that we had to have help, and that would be coming from the New York Giants, who have had a really bad year this year. And it kind of was sad to see because it was almost like it was all for nothing, because even if we flattened the Redskins, we had to have outside help to get into the playoffs. And there was just so many games this year, right, to where we lost by 3 points in Foxborough. We'd lose to the Bills at home on Thanksgiving. We lose to the Chicago Bears, man. Like, we lost to the New York Football Jets with Sam Darnold coming off a hospital bed a week earlier. Like, there's so many times this year to where I felt like the stars aligned to where, okay, the Redskins are having obviously a ton of internal issues. Trent Williams, we have that whole story. You can go back and watch that episode about Trent Williams. You have Eli, who has definitely fallen off, and they transferred to a rookie Daniel Jones. Dwayne Haskins comes in for Washington. Then you have Carson Wentz and their team completely, absolutely decimated and depleted by injuries. They literally had to pick up people off of their practice squad to play against us. And for the last 4 games, and they go 4-0 to win the title. They were 5-7 team. They were 5-7, and they came back and won the division, and we let it slip through our fingers. And it's just, like this year to me defined what this decade has been for us, and that's just mediocrity. Like we've had a couple of good seasons this year, 13-3, a 12-4, another 13-3. But other than that, we were 8-8 or 9-7. We haven't done anything other than win 3 playoff games since the year 2000. Like, if anything, this year just confirmed to me how much we need a new head coach and how much of a culture shift that we need. And unless we get that, and that being, and this is not all on the head coach. This also comes from Jerry Jones himself being, I think, a little too involved. And I think he needs to hire a general manager, let the general manager do his job, and hire a head coach, let the head coach do his job. And until that happens, we're going to keep wasting the primes of players like Tony Romo, Des Bryant, Jason Witten, Dak Prescott, Zeke, Cooper, Gallup, Jalen Smith, Leighton Vander Esch,
Hey, well,
DeMarcus Lawrence.
I tagged you in that
Marcus
thing on
Ware.
Twitter that had every
Yeah.
player, and Dez
Yeah, I
commented
saw-
on
I-
it and
and
was
the
like,
thing
"This
is-
is right. Like, this is
Yeah.
1,000% true."
And the thing is, I'd seen that earlier from Des. I was like, this is so true. Like, it's just, I get hyped up every year because we're the Dallas Cowboys are America's team. We have a good roster. It all looks beautiful on paper. We have a top 3 Madden rating almost every year going into the brand new season, and we can't put it together.
Yeah, real quick. Here's that list of players for anyone that wants to know. Tony Romo, Des Bryant, Sean Lee, Tyron Smith, Zach Martin, Travis Frederick, Jason Witten, DeMarcus Ware, DeMarco Murray, Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, Amari Cooper.
And I can go on and on. Jalen Smith, Leighton Vander Esch, DeMarcus Lawrence,
Mm-hmm.
DeMarcus Ware, on and on and on. And it seems like we've had all these good players, and at times we've had really, really good seasons. We can't get over the top. And don't get me wrong, there was twice where we should have been in the NFC Championship game. One in 2014, Des definitely caught that ball on 4th and 10 to almost. He definitely caught that. Like, and I know Lucas is laughing, but literally,
He did. It's
just
it's
caught
just
that.
funny.
He caught that ball. Des caught it. Hashtag Des caught it. Number 2, 2016, Dak Prescott and Zeke's rookie year. We should have gone to the NFC Championship game, came back down 17 points against Green Bay at halftime to go up by 3 with 30 seconds left, and we got Aaron Rodgers hard.
That was 26. Yo, I remember who caught that ball on the sideline. It was amazing. Their tight end.
I don't know who it was.
Was
But
that
he
Jared
caught
Cook?
It might have been Jared Cook, but he caught it was a beautiful. Aaron Rodgers had 0 timeouts and 30 seconds. He went 60 yards to get in range for a field goal for Mason Crosby for the go-ahead win. And I was beside myself. Like, it's just because I just saw the comeback of a century, and it again just wasted. Bad clock management at the end lost us that game. Well, that, and we got Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
He's a bad
Jared
man.
Cook. He had 30 receptions, 400 yards, and a touchdown.
Wait, 30 in one game?
No, in
Okay,
that whole
just-
year.
Yeah,
That was his
and
1 year with them, and that whole year he had that. And I
think
said
40 of
300
those yards came on that play.
yeah.
Yeah, because it was 3rd and like 25, something ridiculous.
It was amazing.
Aaron Rodgers escaped the pocket, chucked it up. Cook, you couldn't script it better.
No,
Like,
Cook
if
tore
you
you
were-
up that game.
Yeah,
That wasn't
thank
the
you.
only one. Like,
I appreciate.
but that was the
It was
put him in
bad.
a coffin.
My point is.
Sorry, we're getting sidetracked.
We
Messing
are.
with Jackson.
This decade is one that I won't forget because of a lot of cool, memorable moments. But at the same time, I'm anxious to move on from because I'm tired of the mediocrity. I'm tired of loading up First Take every day and seeing Stephen A. dance with his cigar and his cowboy hat.
Man, he was supposed to be
Yeah.
off tomorrow, and he's going to be here, and I'm amazed. I'm ready for
Oh
it.
yeah, I'm just. It's time for a new era. It's time for a new culture. Will that happen? It's yet to be seen, but I am anxious for a new start, and I hope we figure out a way to at least keep the most of these players with this salary cap, because we blew a very good chance at doing something special this year with the talent that we have on that roster. Not saying we could have won it if we won the division. I'm not saying that we were automatic locks to win the whole thing or favorites by any means. There's a lot of good teams this year, but I'm saying we had an opportunity to go compete for something, and we let it slip through our fingertips. That does it for me for Hometown Heroes for the 2019 season. I'm done. Lucas, you have the floor.
I do want to say real quick, I think Jerry Jones has done an excellent job of bringing talent in.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But
I mean, I can read off that list that you just read to me again. Like,
right.
All those players he brought in.
But when it comes to the whole coach thing and stuff, like, he needs to, it's time.
Yeah.
Time for a nice breath of fresh air.
Yeah, take it away, Lucas.
Out of the depression pits, we escalate into the world of the playoffs, where the Tennessee Titans are going to Foxborough next week, which part of me, like I said earlier, like I was really happy when I found that out. The only negative thing to it is that Tom Brady could screw you over, or, if you were already preparing for the Kansas City Chiefs a little bit, that work is kind of out the window now. But anyways, I want to get into my likes and dislikes for this. I guess this is our last week of Hometown Heroes. From now on, we'll
unless
we'll talk about the Titans
game this week. But yeah,
and then hopefully they win and we can keep talking.
I probably won't talk about. I'm going to keep everybody updated with the Cowboys coaching search and what we do with different contracts and player stuff. But in terms of talk about games, I'm done until the 2020 season.
Man, that's sad. Man, sorry, I bet that was terrible to everyone's ears. It wasn't supposed to be that bad.
Oh, yeah, that one hurt.
But I just, it's real sad to think that football's coming to an end, Mr. Jackson.
Isn't it, though?
It's real sad.
I look forward to it every year.
So my likes and dislikes from this week's game. Obviously, number one like has to be Derrick Henry, new Russian champion of the NFL this year.
Congrats on that, dude.
All right. He needed 8 yards, or was it 4 or something like that? He needed under 10 yards. Broke off a 53-yard touchdown run. Whoop, whoop, whoop. All right. Then you got to say Tannehill. All right, my man's comes in. Goes 7-3. Takes you to the playoffs. What else do you want? All right, we're going to sign him to a nice, 4-year deal.
You were so
I was so anti-Tannehill.
You were so upset. You're like,
he played 6 years in Miami, and I did not want him.
The season's over. We benched Mariota. I don't understand it. What is happening? Like, you were... Because earlier... That news broke live on the podcast, and you were upset, to say the least. Which I couldn't blame you for at the time.
Yeah. My last and final is this story that I wanted to tell about Marcus Mariota. So, as you all know, if you are a follower of the NFL, A.J. Brown is probably going to win Rookie of the Year this year, and he eclipsed 1,000 yards today.
Mm-hmm.
His 1,000-yard pass was thrown to him by Marcus Mariota. So, Marcus Mariota got benched, and A.J. Brown was really upset about it. He got caught, the media caught him crying. He said he felt like he let the team down, but he also let Marcus down. He said Marcus really helped him when he came into the league, kind of took him under his wing, and was really good to him, and they were really good buddies. A.J. Brown wore a Marcus Mariota jersey to the game today. And then after his he had a 55-yard touchdown catch, and then he needed anywhere from 10 to 20 yards to get 1,000 yards to pass it. We put... Sorry. Some creepy ghost noises coming from my window from the wind, man.
spooky season out here. It's
It
making a
is
return.
spooky season still, bro. We put Marcus Mariota in the game, put Tannehill wide left as a wide receiver, and had Marcus fake a handoff and throw it to AJ Brown over the middle for his 1,000 yards. And I thought that was awesome that we did that. And I think it's probably gonna be overlooked, but I think that is an awesome story of like we're in this game and AJ Brown wants Marcus to be his 1,000-yard guy, and it's like we're gonna let Marcus throw you that one pass, you know.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Nice little send off to Marcus too.
Yeah, beautiful pass. By the way, it looked like a Tannehill ball out there. So maybe he learned some stuff because Tannehill throws a really good football. Like he throws a nice spiral. It's like straight. It's awesome. And Marcus threw a really good ball there. On to my dislikes. The defense. We don't have Malcolm Butler. We don't have Adoree Jackson. AJ McCarron scored a touchdown on the first drive. Did you know, coming into this week, the Tennessee Titans and the Houston Texans were the only two teams in the NFL to not have a touchdown on the opening drive, and AJ McCarron solved that for him. Deshaun Watson doesn't do it for 15 games, and then all of a sudden, boom, AJ McCarron against the Titans goes all the way down the field, chews you up, and we, of course, made adjustments and stuff after that, and we were fine, and we won the game handedly. But the whole time, it was just sad watching our starting defense against their second and third string offense. Sad. DeAndre Hopkins didn't even touch the field, bro. Sad. My last dislike, I didn't do 3 dislikes because, you know, we made the playoffs, so you can't have 3 dislikes. You only have 2.
You can't. It's a rule.
So, drop balls. Tajay Sharp, like, this is a big game. You know, this is a big game. We're trying to make the playoffs. And Tajay Sharp dropped a ball down the field that I felt like he needed to catch. And then we had some other drops. There was just some drop balls that should not have been dropped, that were big catches that we needed on like third down and stuff, and they just didn't catch the ball. And I'm like, you'll lose a playoff game over stuff like that. It's playoff time. Catch the ball.
Yes.
So, I was upset about that. But other than that, I'm pretty happy.
You deserve to be happy. You guys came back, went 7-3 with Ryan Tannehill, made the playoffs, almost won the division. I mean, there's nothing else that really needs to be said.
So,
you guys
like,
played well. AJ Brown has solved you guys' wide receiver issue.
Yeah, and if you think about it, Tannehill's better than 7-1 or 7-3. All right, technically he's not, but the first game against the Carolina Panthers that he lost, the whole team played bad except for him. He was the one light in the tunnel. After that, we played good. We won our games. We played the Houston Texans, and we lost because we missed a field goal. That happened a lot. We lost like 3 games this year because we couldn't kick a field goal. We missed a field goal, and a freak interception that was pretty much a fumble on the 1-yard line. You know, like stuff like that should not happen. We should have won that game. The Texans have been playing terrible like the past 4 weeks. It's been bad. Since they beat the Patriots, they've been bad. And then the game against the Saints, it looked like Ryan Tannehill was going to drive down and give you a game-winning touchdown. But Khalif Raymond got knocked unconscious and fumbled the ball. And they didn't do anything.
I remember that.
Oh,
I remember us talking about that.
So they fined that player $30,000. Fined him $30,000 for targeting or for unnecessary roughness.
Didn't call it though.
No, I didn't get called. So really sad. So I'm excited for the future.
Yeah, lots of stuff to be excited about.
Yeah, and I have 5 things for you to be excited about, Mr. Jackson.
Oh, is it what I think it is?
It is time for Take or Leave It. For those that do not know, all right, this is Jackson's favorite segment. He loves it. Take or leave it. I bring up like 5 things that I say to Jackson, take it or leave it. He says his side. I say my side. It's a fun time. You should all join in. Pause the video, or if you're listening to this, pause the recording and just like, you know, think about what you think maybe, and then press play, see what we think, see how your ideas compare to ours. Cool stuff.
Throw your thoughts in the comments below.
Be interactive, all right? We didn't get questions this week.
We did not.
Real sad. Sad stuff. Lonely times out here in the pod, bros. So, number one, Jackson, take it or leave it.
Yes.
I think you'll like this. Jackson is a huge Vince Young fan. He was a huge Vince Young fan because he's a Longhorn guy, you know, all that stuff. So take it or leave it. Vince
Yes.
Young could have succeeded way more in his NFL career if he would have been embraced by a team the way Lamar Jackson has been embraced by the Ravens.
Oh man.
Not as athletic, but probably not even as good as Michael Vick. But
Yeah,
he could have
he's not
done
on that
more.
level. Take it, Jeff. I don't. Jeff Fisher didn't want him, but
No,
the
that was our owner.
Owner drafted him anyway. He's fresh off the Rose Bowl win against USC, who at the time was a dominant dynasty in college football. Think of what Alabama or Ohio State is today, and that's what USC was. 2 straight national championships until we beat them. They were going for 3 in a row. They were insane. They had Reggie Bush on their team. Anyway, it was crazy. Yeah, I think take it. I feel like if he was more accepted and the Titans were willing to work their offense around Vince Young, yeah, of course I think he would have done better. Would he be Lamar Jackson or Michael Vick level or even RG3 from 2012 level? No, probably not. But he would have had a better year or better years, especially stat wise. And I think they would have won a couple more games.
So interesting story here. I don't know if anyone's heard this. The ex-GM of the Titans is on that radio show I always listen to, and he has actually talked about this specific subject before. So he was the GM of the Titans there. He drafted Vince Young. He did it because that's what the owner wanted. He didn't want to, but the owner wanted him to, so he did. And the plan was then to have, he was like, okay, this is fine. Like, I can do this. We can make this work. He'll get to learn behind Steve McNair for a year, 2 years.
Yeah.
Well, that didn't work. The owner didn't want Steve. The owner wanted Vince. You do what the owner says. And it just blew up the Titans franchise. And I feel like we're still recovering from that, like now.
Yeah.
But I think it's really cool that, like, he had a chance to learn from Steve McNair, who was kind of the same as him. Kind of the same build a little bit. Vince was more athletic.
Kind of
yeah, but same style and stuff. And I think it would have been so cool to have that happen. And I think he could have came in and taken the reins way better than what happened.
Be more prepared.
Yeah, and then they got caught in the back and forth deal and all that. But take it or leave it, Mr. Jackson.
Yes, sir.
With all the expectations that came with the Dallas Cowboys this year, is it safe to say that this Dallas Cowboy team has been the biggest letdown of, like, any Cowboy team, I'll say, this decade?
Oh,
or you know, within, like, the past, like, 50 years. I really feel like...
Yeah, we can...
I mean, I really feel like this might be it. I mean, coming into the year, you got people saying the Cowboys are in prime position to win the Super Bowl. Like, you are definitely going to make the playoffs and, like, all this stuff. Dak comes in at the beginning and he's lighting it up. You've got Zeke signed and ready. Dak's playing for his contract. You got the offensive line, Amari Cooper. Your other wide receivers are showing up. Your defense has got the linebackers that any team could possibly, like, dream of.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like this decade for sure. Past 50 years, not so sure about that. But I feel like for this decade, this was kind of the most hyped team going into a season. Because we've had other teams, like in 2016, we're like, oh man, Romo went down. We're not really expecting anything, and Dak comes out of nowhere and goes 13-3, wins the division. And so that was unexpected, but it was a really good team, and they delivered. They won a wild card game, and then they went to the divisional round. And it's actually no, they didn't win a wild card game. They had a divisional round. They lost. We got Aaron Rodgers. Talked about that earlier. So I guess going into a year with the hype that was there, with the expectations that were there, with the cloud surrounding Zeke of whether we sign him or not, or Herschel Walker trade him, or what to do, this might be the biggest letdown of a Cowboys team in recent memory that I could remember. Because we've had other teams, but like, Romo would get hurt, or T.O. would get hurt, but never a team like this to where I'm like, dude, our roster is absolutely loaded from top to bottom. Any way you look at it, on paper, we have superstars everywhere and players that, like you said, other franchises would kill to have. If you could have Sean Lee, Leighton Vander Esch, and backers, any team would take that over what they have right now. They would take those three. Healthy, of course. Leighton Vander Esch has a neck issue, but healthy, you take those three. I feel like we added a lot to our defensive line. I felt like, this year just kind of the stars aligned and we just choked it, man. You have Zeke, right, coming off of a rushing title. You have you sign and you draft this random running back from Memphis, Tony Pollard, who, by the way, has a lot of quick burst and speed, a perfect back to spell Zeke. You have Cooper, but oh, by the way, you have this guy Gallup that you drafted last year, who's coming into his own, who Cooper said could be a number one on any other team. You signed Randall Cobb and upgrade him from Cole Beasley. Witten comes off the Monday Night Football desk because he's so excited for this year that he thinks he might have a chance at a ring. Dak's playing for his contract. Garrett's playing for his contract. Nothing is guaranteed. It's all or nothing. We're going all in.
And you go 8-8.
And just come up beyond flat.
Did you go 8-8?
8-8. 8-8. We started 3-0. We went 5-8 the last 13 weeks.
Yeah, I'm also gonna take it.
Take it.
That's so bad. That's so bad.
Especially when everything bad happens. I'm sorry, guys. When everything bad happens, you have the Redskins or nothing, the Giants going through inner turmoil, and the Eagles losing to a punter and kicker, wide receiver, quarterback combo at the end of the game. I'm like, are you kidding me? Eagles players making burner accounts talking about their quarterback and how bad of a leader he is, and how they should have had Nick Foles all along, and then other people made a mistake. Then they go 4-0, win the division, and we fall flat. Cool story, bro.
Sounds like a coaching problem.
Yeah, like, come on. What else do you want?
So my third thing, Jackson, take it or leave it. Ron Rivera will be a head coach next year in the NFL.
Absolutely take it. Absolutely take it. I feel like if you leave it, you're not paying attention. I
also think
Ron Rivera reportedly is on the short list for a lot of head coaching vacancies. He says he's ready to make a decision quickly. He's ready to make a decision now. Excuse me, guys. Still got kind of a lingering.
He's got to get in there now. Like, he wants to get in as early as he can.
He wants to get in. He wants to start assembling his staff. He's ready to go for 2020 because he got fired from Carolina, and he's going to show them what's up. He is upset. He's ready to go. Sources are saying that the Redskins have a big-time interest in Ron Rivera. And then Ron Rivera reportedly is very interested, of course, in the Redskins. So they're supposed to be meeting tomorrow, Monday. You guys will already know what happened. He could have also be signed. And to me, that spells, oh no, man. We had in a year where we had Jay Gruden, right? Where the Redskins did nothing. Now they're going to get Ron Rivera. The Redskins I think they fired their president of football operations. They're changing stuff up within the organization, which is exactly what we told them to do.
You got Haskins.
Not that we told them I had a phone call. We had a podcast and hope they listen. But you got the Giants. They're making a new transition to Daniel Jones and Saquon. You've got to assume that their wide receivers and their guys get back healthy. They're possibly going to go with a new head coaching route and fire Pat Shurmur. So it's like Everybody else is just going to get better. And we had an opportunity to prime opportunity to win it all.
we're back to the Dallas Cowboys, folks.
When we talked about Ron Rivera, he's interested in a Redskins job, so he could have it by the time this podcast episode comes out. So therefore, it's relevant, and I've got to stop talking before it gets even
Take
worse.
it or leave it.
Yes, he's going to have a head coaching job.
Take it or leave it. We're staying in your division, dog. The Philadelphia Eagles are the weakest playoff team there is this year.
Take it. Congratulations, you're 9-7 and won a terrible NFC East division. You're absolutely decimated across the board. You have practice squad players who are not going to be anybody other than the Dallas Cowboys this year. You have no wide receivers, no defensive backs. Your tight end has a lacerated lung. Yes, beyond the worst team in the playoffs right now. I would take the Bills over them. I would take the Texans over them. I'd take the Titans to come in and whoop up on them Philadelphia Eagles. They are nothing this year, and they don't deserve to be in that playoff spot, and that game is not going to be interesting at all. Okay, Seattle is going to go in there and smack them sideways because Seattle could have almost been the like a 3 seed.
What if they
they're
win?
that good?
What if they win?
Then I don't know what I'm going to do. If they host Seattle and they beat Seattle after what I just saw Seattle do to San Francisco, and Seattle consistently go in and play extremely well, Marshawn Lynch is going to scatter so many Skittles over the Philadelphia Eagles end zone, bro. Like this, it's over. Okay, it's done. It's dusted.
Right.
Just send Seattle to the divisional round.
Last one. We're leaving you now.
Okay. Take it.
A 6 seed Tennessee Titan team has a chance to go to the Super Bowl. Take it or leave it.
A 1.1% chance, but
according
yes,
to an article on the NFL website, they have a 1.1% chance. I did read that earlier.
Road I have ever seen.
Patriots, Ravens, most likely Chiefs, and then Super Bowl.
All road games. You're going to play in Foxborough. All right, cool. Upset. I'm with it. Let's get it, dog. All right, let's go. Then you go into the Ravens, right?
Maybe they're cold. You're hot. Maybe.
More. All right.
Come see me.
Wait for you outside the bank, dog. Big trust. He's there.
That's right.
They had 3,100 rushing yards this year. It's
Broke
an NFL single season record. They've won their last 12 straight. Lamar Jackson MVP.
Big trust. Look, after we beat the Patriots, Belichick's going to share his notes with us. Mike Vrabel's going to go into his office. He's going to be like, "Teach me your ways, master." All right?
Exactly.
And it's going to be like Darth Sidious bringing in Darth Vader and teaching this man some stuff. All right?
And we're going to go in. Some weird sorcery like that. Then you got to go to Arrowhead at the end of January and beat Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill and Damian Williams and all.
Hey, we've done it twice.
Albeit an easier game than either at Foxborough or at Baltimore, but you never know. Then you're going to go to the Super Bowl and you're going to play Drew Brees. I'm telling you what, bro, if that happens, if you go into Foxborough and beat the Patriots, and then you go into B-More, all right, and smack Big Trust sideways, and then you go into Patrick Mahomes' house in Arrowhead and beat the Madden 20 cover guy, and then you go into the Super Bowl, right, and you beat Drew Brees and stop him from getting a second ring and mess up the Saints franchise because then they have to get rid of Bridgewater because they're going to keep Brees and they're going to mess up their long-term franchise quarterback, then I will kneel before you on this podcast.
Put in the book.
I will kneel before you, Lucas. If that is the road and you accomplish that,
we deserve something. Stephen A. Smith putting us number 1, man. All right.
He better, bro. He better.
That would be wild. So I've been thinking about this, and here's crazy stat. All right, since 1990, when the NFL, expanded its playoff and did all that, blah blah blah. There's only 2 6 seeds that have won the Super Bowl. the 2005 Patriots and the 2010 Packers. We don't, not Patriots, I'm sorry, Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay.
Hines Ward was the MVP. All right. We do not have a Big Ben or a Aaron Rodgers, but we got Ryan Tannehill, who is leading the league in QBR, and we got Derrick Henry. And we might not be able to do what they did, but by golly, we can get close.
I will tell you, there was a 5 seed that did it too. In the year 2007, the New York Football Giants and Eli Manning went into the Super Bowl against the 18-0 New England Patriots and smacked them up sideways.
That might be the wildest.
To win the game 17-14. And Lucas, by God, you might have a chance to do it this year as a 6 seed.
If the Titans do that, that'll be the craziest run ever. You can't tell me there's a crazier run. You beat Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Drew Brees, and Lamar Jackson MVP.
In the span of 5 weeks.
Whew, getting chills just thinking about it. Big drugs. Anyways, that's it for Take It or Leave It. Some cool stuff, I thought.
A chance. Take it. 1.1%, but yes, you have a chance.
Yeah, I said can go.
Better chance than we do, dog.
Yeah. You're right. So, quick recap from our games, our picks from last week. LSU beat Oklahoma, Clemson beat Ohio State, blah. The Titans beat the Texans, woo! The Redskins lost to the Cowboys, yay! The 49ers defeated the Seahawks. The Steelers lost to the Ravens, and the Eagles beat the Giants, boo. Fly, Eagles, fly, Jackson.
How dare you? My wounds are less than 12 hours old. And you come in here and say fly, Eagles, fly.
So the standings right now are records. I'm 66-53. You are 72-47. You got a 6-game lead, but it's okay. It's time. It's time to change it all right here. Let me get out my trusty pen. Where's it at? Stuff's about to go down.
Lucas is ready, bro.
All right. Start off with our college games, Jackson. Number 1.
Yes.
Georgia versus Baylor.
I'm taking Georgia.
Nerd.
Who you taking?
I'm actually going to take Baylor. Georgia.
All right.
I have no faith in Georgia's quarterback, and they looked so bad against LSU. I know everyone looks bad against LSU, but oh my, Jackson, they look like they didn't. They look like they didn't belong in the SEC.
You always get me on the college games, man. I know that's why you put like 3 of them in this week, but yeah.
No, 2. Next game, Oregon versus Wisconsin.
Ooh.
It's a tough one, honestly. Oregon could go out and throw up 80.
Yeah,
they could also. I'm going with Wisconsin if they can get their run game going.
I was leaning towards. I'll take Oregon. I'll be different.
How many games did I say I needed to win? 6?
Yeah.
I've got 2. Let's see if I can get some more here. Tennessee Titans at the New England Patriots, starting off with our NFL games. This will probably be the earlier game.
I love you, Lucas. But I don't think that they're going to lose 2 straight games at home in the playoffs. I'm taking Brady.
So I am taking the Titans, and I have bet against the Titans. I picked the Buffalo Bills to beat the Tennessee Titans earlier on in the year, and it happened. All right, I care about my record. Oh, that was your hand.
You do.
All right. No, I thought I seen a ghost behind you, but it was your hand. You're good, bro.
Okay.
Anyways, I'm picking the Tennessee Titans to defeat the New England Patriots. I don't care about the whole home thing. All right, we went to Arrowhead and won there. We can go to New England and win.
You did, and it's the most likely upset this week. And I feel you. We
can hang. We can make it close, and something can happen.
I'll be rooting for you.
Good.
I'll be rooting for you. I'm there with you in spirit. I got no one else to root for this offseason. So
Good. You're a Tennessee fan. Awesome. Yes, I'm
Yeah,
getting
let's
you a
get it.
Tennessee hat. If you win the bets, you're getting a Tennessee hat.
Let's get this bread, bro.
Buffalo Bills at the Texans.
Ooh, I'm taking the Bills.
I'm also going to take the Bills. Ruin my chance to get my games.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the
take
Texans have
Buffalo.
not looked good to me. The Vikings at the 49ers.
Niners.
Be different, Jackson.
Niners.
Dang
Pick
it.
the Vikings, dude. Do it.
No, yeah.
Be different. Take your chance, bro.
No, they can't do it. No way. I'm already taking chances. Seahawks at the Eagles?
Seattle, bro. So many
Ooh.
skills are gonna be poured.
Ooh, this is a one that I could shimmy on it. Fly, Eagles, fly, Jackson.
Are you picking the Eagles, bro?
No, I gotta go Seahawks.
I was gonna say I'm gonna send you a bag of Skittles, dog.
All right. So yes, I mean we agree on 3 of the playoff games. And we disagree on all the other ones. So we agree on 3 and
play. Are we doing the New Orleans game? Or did we already pick them?
I'm sorry. I wrote this down earlier. The 49ers have a bye now.
Yeah, I was gonna say what? I
It's
picked the Saints over the Vikings.
it's Vikings and Saints.
I thought that seemed weird.
My bad. I wrote this down earlier before the 49ers won.
Before we found out, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm taking New Orleans.
Yeah, same. Saints. 100%.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So yeah. So it looks good. It's looking good for us. I'm excited. Should be a very exciting week of football. This whole week I'm not going to know what to do with myself.
I'm telling you, man, it's a good time. It's a great time to be alive. I'm really excited for playoff football this weekend, for some good college matchups as well. I am anxiously awaiting the LSU Clemson game, and then just seeing what happens, man. Okay, so the schedule got released, Lucas. So Buffalo is at Houston at 3:30 Central this week on Saturday. Also on Saturday, Tennessee at New England, 7:15 Central.
Ooh.
Saturday night prime time, baby. Sunday, Minnesota's going to New Orleans at noon Central, and then Seattle at Philadelphia at 3:40 Central to round off the weekend. 8:15 Saturday night, Lucas. 7:15, excuse me.
I'm so excited.
You got the primetime game. Everyone's going to be watching that.
So excited. And it comes a day early.
I feel like the people know and understand that this is a upset possibility.
Okay. It's okay.
You got the blood flowing, you feeling good? Yeah.
Getting nervous. Oh, that's awesome.
Before we close out the show, we did have a comment from Mr. Casey on our YouTube video.
I looked a couple hours ago. We didn't have any.
He
4 seconds ago.
3 days ago.
What? All right, read it.
All right, so it's not really a question, but Casey's just kind of here you go, Casey.
I'm sorry
Casey's
I missed
making a
this, by
statement.
the way, Casey. We
It's
would have
all
brought
good.
you up at the beginning. Homesickle,
He
home
says,
dog.
boys, it's
Sea
about
dog.
time for some YouTube. Loving the hats. Breeze and Brady for the Super Bowl. Lucas, do you know Brady is the GOAT?
He is
It's
the GOAT.
because when he was in college, he had to prove it again and again to the coach that he was the best. When
Gonna
he
lose
got
this week.
drafted in the 6th round, number 199, he told the owner he was the best draft choice in franchise history. Bros, Brady don't care about records and Pro Bowl trash. Brady is all about winning games. That is, my friend, why Brady is the GOAT. He wanted revenge and wanted to outdo everyone in his draft class and prove to everyone that he is the best. Lucas, will he prove it once again this weekend?
No,
or will he
he's
crumble
gonna
in the
lose.
fall?
He's gonna lose. He's gonna lose. You know he's gonna lose. He just lost to the Miami Dolphins, so he's probably gonna be upset.
That's what I'm saying, bro. That's
But
why I
he's
picked him
gonna have to take those back-to-back L's. All right, all right,
for the
all
first
right.
time
It's
in a
gotta
long time.
it's gotta happen. And here's why it needs to happen. Number one, he has nothing, and if he wins and something, and if they win and they go to the Super Bowl again, Jackson, it will just it'll give them more reason not to give him any more weapons. He needs some stuff. And the biggest time to show some proof that, yes, Tom Brady is the GOAT, but I can't go outside and throw a football to a lizard and expect him to catch it. All right. Now, if there's an actual human being there,
Even if you do get
it works.
15% off car insurance?
No. I mean, like a trash can will catch it if I throw a perfect ball. And that's what he's done his whole career, is throw to trash cans. But now he's throwing to people that don't have opposable thumbs. All right? It's time.
Yeah.
He needs some help.
He does need some help, bro. He needs a lot of help.
So yeah, is that it?
That's it.
Awesome. So that's it for this week's. Real quick, I just want to say happy New Year's to everyone.
Yes.
I hope everyone has had a great 2019, and I hope you look forward to an amazing 2020. I'm hoping we can really get our stuff going.
Yes.
We're always trying to make the pod better. I would love for you guys to leave some comments, some things that we can do to make the pod even better for next year's thing. Yeah, I just hope everyone's got some big stuff planned for this next year. You know, maybe I'll like do a New Year's resolution to lose some weight, or maybe I'll resolution to gain some weight because I like eating. But we'll see what happens.
Score for 4, my God.
That's it. That's it. So,
yeah, guys, thank you so much for coming out and listening / watching every single week. It really does make our days. We really look forward to recording every single week. This is super, super fun. We're going to make 2020 fantastic. As always, you guys can find us and watch us and listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and more. Watch us on YouTube. Feel free to join Casey down in the comment section down below. He gets a little lonely down there. It's just a little thing. We like to give him a little friend every once in a while, keep him happy. So if you guys could be a very good friend, leave a comment down there with Casey so he has somebody to interact with. That'd be awesome. Be sure to follow us at Go For Two Podcast on Twitter. Tweet at us if you guys want to send us a couple questions for any feedback, and be sure to rate us on iTunes and give us 5 stars. We will read your rating live here on the show. I think that's it from all of us, guys. Have a happy New Year, and we're getting ready for some real good football this weekend, guys. Real good football. We're into the nitty-gritty. It's a playoff time now.
can't wait.
Every game matters. All right, guys. Thank you so much, and we love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.